Welcome back to a Thursday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. The Super Size Me tournament field, or at least the teams, are set. We haven't set the brackets. That'll be on Sunday when the seedings are announced and the brackets are going to be announced. And then Monday, you and I are going to have a field day talking about the brackets and how far teams can go. We're into Division 3, and before we get the teams in the Super Size Me district tournament, let's bring in one of those teams' head coach. Joining us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, the head basketball coach of the Ursuline Irish, Mike Kernan. Coach, how are you today, sir?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Doing well. So,
I would be doing better if we beat Mooney yesterday.
I didn't want to bring that up first, Coach, but since you did bring it, since you did bring it up, the game last night in your place on Wick Avenue on the northern part of Youngstown, it was a close game in the third quarter. I think you guys were down 2 heading into the fourth quarter, and then Mooney outscored Ursuline 14-7 in the final quarter to get the victory. What was the fourth quarter? What went away from you guys in the fourth quarter in this game last night?
You know what? And actually, I would say it was still a one possession game when we were in the under 2 minutes. What actually happened? I didn't get to that piece of the film yet. From a recalling standpoint, we went down 1 bucket, 2 scores and then 3 scores and put nothing together, nothing together, nothing in the bucket to gain any momentum. And Mooney fed off their bucket, their momentum, and, we didn't recover. One thing for sure, playing these competitive games is going to prepare us for the tournament. But, we expected a good, tough, tight game. We could have executed better in those last 2 minutes to make it a different game.
You've had a couple games this season where, you've been really competitive, and then, it's end-of-game situations, which are hard to teach and hard to kind of grasp for a team not young, because you have plenty of seniors, but you have a lot of young talent. So how have you seen this team kind of grow and try to learn the game of basketball and learn those in-game situations a little bit better as you guys have gone on?
Well, the position I'm in, my outlook is this is great repetition and preparation for tournament time. All these teams we're competing with, down to the last minute, 2 minutes of the game, we're putting ourselves in position to learn and grow from them. And all these teams are against Division 2, bigger schools, competitive schools. So for us to compete and learn these situational scenarios, to me, it's better than beating somebody by 40. It's better than practicing in the gym. When we lost LeBray last Saturday, and they're a good team. We're expecting a competitive game, and the AD at Ursuline says, "Hey, we got Southeast. They could." And this is like within a 24-hour period. We're lucky to pick up a game. We know Southeast is good, and we're like, "Hey, we got to play. That's better than any practice we could have." So keeping the kids' mindset is probably the toughest part when you're losing and you're continuous grinding. Is probably the toughest obstacle to maintain. But my kids are pretty tough, and they're actually handling it really well, so I feel good about where we are.
Coach, you brought up something really interesting in this COVID world where you could lose a game and gain a game on a dime depending on the relationship that the AD has with certain teams. And obviously, Ursuline's a D3 program. You're blessed in which you're playing a lot of D1 and D2 programs to prepare you for the D3 tournament. But beggars can't be choosers. If you have a team that drops you because of COVID, and there's a Division 4 program that is free, I would imagine playing a D4 team, a mediocre D4 team, is better than practicing because, I truly believe experience is the best teacher regardless of your opponent.
No doubt about that. It's sometimes I think some of these teams look at the opponent and they shy away a little bit. And that's a great example for us. We have a good competitive team. We're excited about the tournament, and we lost a couple games just ahead of us, and we didn't hesitate to pick up Southeast last week. We have picked up Canfield this Saturday, and we picked up Poland on Monday. I mean, we're like, let's, win or lose, it's better than any practice we can have. And the kids are learning to compete. Then you go play these maybe Division III schools, or there's other schools that aren't competing at that high level. It's going to help us execute a lot more. And even to pivot off that, you talked about the change with the COVID and basketball preparation. Now you have to pay attention to kids getting rest, and just like we prepared for LeBray, we figured that would help us maybe in voting. So we prepared pretty hard, pretty well versus LeBray. Then 24 hours before the game, they say, they had to cancel. And then we're sitting there thinking, then we go play Southeast, and you really can't prepare, within 24 hours. Maybe grab one film, find a few things out. So the rest and the preparation are the two interesting obstacles out there as well.
Talk about your seniors and how much you've leaned on them through this crazy year to lead the team, not just on the court but off the court, and what they mean to your program.
These four seniors we have six. One actually went down with the ACL. Another one's a great attitude substitute on our team, great supporter of the team. And then the four starters we have, they played basketball I think at St. Christine's, all six of them did, since like the 4th and 5th grade. Their leadership, when it came time for conditioning, even through all this COVID, they showed up. They're leaders with all these, all the young kids that are out there. We have Emily Smith, who has the ACL tear, Gianna Gordolik, who's an excellent sub, great attitude on the bench. And then you have Rachel Faber, our point guard, Jamie Nelson, guard, excellent defensive player, Anissa Mormon, just a great all-around athlete player, can go big for us and shoot outside, and then Kara McNally, who's just a sharpshooter from the outside. But having these seniors on the team, having that leadership, in a way, you're sitting there thinking you're going to lose a lot for next year, but in a way, they've really set the tone for the pivoting off the program from a Dejanette Harris, let's say. We didn't follow up with another Dejanette Harris, but these seniors have really kept the program at a high level in transition.
Ursuline head basketball coach Mike Kernan joining us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline. And, we spoke with the Boardman head basketball coach Brett Green, and for a D1 program, there's not a lot of D1 programs in the area, and sometimes you have to go outside the area, but this area has improved in basketball so much that you don't have to go outside the area all that often. I mean, you still have two really good programs in the southern tip of Mahoning County that you can call up anytime in West Branch and Salem. Your conference, you've got Mooney, you've got East, you've got Cheney. You can go up to take on Canfield, Howland, Fitch, Harding, Boardman. I know that you guys have jumped down into the MVAC gray tier. You guys played Crestview earlier in the year, Newton Falls, Liberty, Brookfield. There's plenty of competition in this area where the basketball has improved so much. Oh, you still want to go outside the area to test yourself out and test your team out, but there's a lot of good competition within the Mahoning Valley now.
Oh, you're absolutely right about that. And that, brings up even the South Range, who was in the D3 finals last year with everybody, regional finals with everybody back as well. And you're absolutely right. And probably with the COVID going on right now, it's nice to have all these quality competitive teams going on in our area. But I agree with you. Agree with you quite well. Our local basketball is at a nice level right now. You know, even in the Division IV, and we might be missing teams as we move along, but that McDonald team's one heck of a squad as well. You know, Division III, your South Range, and you mentioned West Branch and Salem. I mean, it's really at a nice level right now. We'll say that for sure.
Coach, you know, these super districts pose an exciting challenge with a lot of teams that maybe you wouldn't see in a normal district. What kind of things excite you most about the challenges ahead with these super districts and some of the teams you might have to square up against?
Me personally, I absolutely love it. You know, I don't know if anybody heard my input through a roundabout way, but the fact we can go out and play the competitive schedule. I mean, I'm very excited and interested to see how the seedings pan out. You know, because now I'm in position where maybe I don't get a 15 seed and I get stuck in this bracket. You know, because we're doing the 1 through. You can go into 2 districts now. We're going to seed 1 through 24. I always said, you know, I don't care. Let me pick where I want to go. You know, if you want to put me 5th or 6th seed instead of the 1 or 2 because of the schedule we are, you know, at least that puts me in position to go pick where my competition is. The way they had the seedings the last couple of years where, hey, if you're in the 6th seed, you go in the 6th spot. Yeah, there's no strategy behind that. And then the teams who are playing a more competitive schedule like us, we almost get put at a disadvantage. I mean, you still got to go win. But heck, you know, you want to put me at 7 or 8 seed because we have 5 losses against great quality teams and we competed against all of them. That's fine. You know, let me see where you vote, and I might come just go pick you and go in your bracket.
Well, and it's not just South Range that is going to be an interesting look. I mean, D3 is stacked. It truly is.
I like our bracket. You know, Kirtland was very good last year. They got some nice numbers. Rootstown's 8-2, 9-2. They're competitive. Garfield's extremely competitive. Liberty, Crestview, Brookfield, a very, very good team right now. Got a good thing going. And I'm probably missing a few of them, but I agree with you 100%. There's 8 to 12 teams in there that are very, very good ball clubs.
Yeah, and we're looking at the teams right now, and you're right. I mean, you look at a team like maybe, you know, Garrettsville, Garfield. I think they're 9-2 right now. Brookfield has only lost 1 game. These are teams that are starting to learn how to win. But you're a team that, you know, you're senior led. They've been there, they've done that. They know the standards. Ursuline, how much of an advantage do you think the senior leaders are going to be come tournament time?
Well, I think just because of our schedule is going to help that much more. You know, if we had a younger team and we were losing to these competitive programs, playing competitively, but I think that losing can beat you down a little bit. But that's where the importance of this senior group that we have, you know, they're focused on a couple things, and one of them is this district title. They get that these games we're playing are preparing us for this tournament. So they're buying into the program. They, you know, into that process. They believe in it, and so that's going to be a nice factor. The combination of us rolling into the tournament.
Coach, before we get into the tournament, you still have about 2.5 weeks worth of basketball to be played. How many games do you envision Ursuline playing before tournament time? You're right now at 13 games. Are you going to be able to get to 18 to 20 games before the tournament start?
We have them scheduled. It's just a matter of right now. I don't even think we have room to add any more games, and I think that might put us at 21 off the top of my head. But again, you just don't know with the COVID, 1. And then 2, we just had East. We play them next Wednesday after, you know, our next Canfield and Poland game, and they just had we have to reschedule them and because of the COVID. So you just don't know. Hey, we might be one of the programs that end up playing a team that had a positive player, and we might have to go down for 10 days. If we get 20 games in, we'll be ecstatic.
You got Canfield on Saturday, like you said, and then Poland on Monday. What a tough stretch. How excited are you to just continue to compete against really good teams up in Division I and Division II?
Well, I'm coming off a tough loss last night. I'm coming off a tough loss against at Southeast. And when I say at Southeast, that means you're contesting with outside county officials too sometimes. But good game. We could have won. We had the ball with 15 seconds left, down 3. So I'm not pointing fingers anywhere. But coming off those two games, tight loss here, tight loss there, and then looking ahead for Canfield and Poland. Am I excited? Me as a coach, yeah. Again, I talk about my kids being tough and off, but the grind they're going through right now really well. I love playing these schools because it's better than any scrimmage we can do. I love playing these schools, but sometimes you just got to at least be paying attention to the grind on the kids. Me as a coach and a competitor, these are the only games we should be playing. Otherwise, it's not going to make you any better. I think I told my one coach I sent a text to my one coach, has a very good team. They played a couple lower seeded teams, and they were winning by 30 and 40. Then they played a very tough team, and they went down 15 in the first half. And I said, you get in habits against those teams and you lose that competitive edge, and then you want to jump into this game. And you just lowered your standards the last 3 games. Your kids did. But that's how it is. So me, I'm ecstatic about playing a tougher competition. You just have to keep an eye out to make sure the kids are keeping their chin up and staying positive and staying focused on their goal.
Well, Coach, we cross our fingers the rest of the year and hope that all the programs stay away from COVID. We learned this lesson in the football season. If you happen to have COVID during tournament time, season's over. There's nothing fair about this whole process in the COVID world in which we're living in. So hopefully everyone is minding their business, and hopefully we have a COVID-free tournament, because, man, D3 is going to be a blast to watch.
I appreciate that. You are right.
All right, all the best to you, Coach.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You got it. Mike Kernan, the head basketball coach of the Ursuline Irish.